Yeah. Well, here comes the map, guys. We are loading straight into it. Our two fantastic players going into the next map. It is going to be... My mind is spacing right now. I can't believe we're... Neoplanet S. That was like the worst. That was the worst. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of the map. Currently up 1-0. We have for Team Millennium. It is Feast. Executing that build perfectly there. Almost losing that proxy. Think of how different if that proxy pile would have been sniped, by the way. That could have been a completely different engagement or game, but... And his opponent in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. We have our green Zerg from Team Acer. It is Bly. Playing a really different style, going for that fast speed, or overlord speed. Being greedy on the spine crawlers as well. We'll see how he changes it up for game number 2. What are you expecting here on Neoplanet S, Larian?
Seeing how Feast played on Daybreak, I would definitely expect him to do another 2-base all-in on this map because it lends itself even better to 2-base all-ins because it's way more difficult to take a third base on this map than it is on Daybreak because the third base at the top of the map is very far away and has like 1,000 different attack paths toward it. And the base on the bottom side is so far away from your natural that it's difficult to defend both at the same time if the Zerg comes from a different angle. But then again, there's only 2 attack paths on this map, 2 main attack paths. There's the top and there's the bottom, but there's so many other small sneaky deaky routes that the Zerg can take. I don't think this is going to be a map where we see Feast play a huge macro game on. What are your thoughts for Bly? What is he going to be thinking?
You know, when it comes to maps, unless it's something like Belshire Vestige, your build order is pretty much the same early on, and you can aim for a late game on this map. I like the fact that he went for a hatch first this time around. Personally, as a Zerg player, I hatch first every single game now against Protoss. Like you said, when's the last time you saw a cannon rush? And even then, you have to commit 1 pylon and 2 cannons to deny that hatch first. The meta has just completely shifted away from that. So I like the fact that we're seeing a hatch first from him, following up with the pull before gas. We do see the Nexus is down really quickly here for Feast this game, delaying the Cybernex core. I like that decision. You know, it's just macro from both players right now.
Yeah, macro indeed. What I'm going to be keeping a big eye on is Feast going to get a Forge? Or is he not? And if he gets it, when does he get it? That's a really important thing to look at right now. If he's looking for a mid to late game kind of strategy, we'll definitely see that Forge go down in the coming 2-3 minutes. If not, he's going to go for another timing. Let it be another 4-gate DT build that we saw Naniwa do, or just a normal 4-gate Zealot Stalker pressure build. We're going to have to wait and see, but it's all going to be about the Forge and the Robo. They're going to be so telling of the mid to late game strategies of Feast.
Yeah. I mean, that build worked so well for him last time, why not try it again? Like you said, there's multiple attack paths here. The chokes are fairly narrow. It could work again here if Bly is just as greedy. Take a look at that income tab, 21-20. Both players not really cutting any harvesters so far. Feast finally up to 2 gases. Natural Nexus just about to finish. Ling's moving across the map to get a scout. Mothership Core and Zergling Speed being started for both players. It's just a waiting game, you know. Will we see Bly go for the same style? He's got the same opener, really. Has the gas timings lined up. Will we get to see the pneumatized Carapace again, or will he go for layer first? We'll have to see.
Yeah, he's not pulling his workers out of gas, so very curious to see what he's going to use the next 100 gas for. Are we going to see him chunk down some early evo chambers and go with that? Feast on the other side of the map is dropping 2 more gateways, not a Forge. And that's pretty telling. When you go for 2 gateways first, it's going to go up to 3. Usually you see a 4th added on and an early timing. And there is that pneumatized Carapace again on the other side of the map for Bly. He's getting it again.
Yeah, if it's utilized properly, I mean, it's not like a bad investment, but we saw from the timings of last game that it ended up hurting him just a little bit. I don't know. It's just like a cool little thing that not very many Zergs do. We'll have to see if it plays out. It helps scouting a lot, like we discussed. You got to see what's going on. Hopefully he reacts as well, or better than he did last time to what's going on. If he's going to scout the third base, see that there's nothing there with that Mothership Core. Looks like the drone's just now being sent over to that third spot for the hatchery.
Yeah, so there is going to be a third base coming up. I think this is pretty much the same thing that Bly's done in the last game. Is that drone actually going to build that third? He's just sitting around there. Yeah, he needs a few more minerals to be able to chunk that down. Roach War now on the way. 12 Zerglings. Huh. Is he going to expand to the top left instead? Yeah, he is. He sees the mothership core there and he's like, no, never mind. I'll go to the other side. This is too scary for me.
Good decision making right here from Bly. He scouts what's going on. It's the exact same thing from last time, so he's investing in Burrow. Without a Stargate or a robotics facility, you don't have detection as a Protoss player. So what he's going to do is going to hold off this attack and be able to counterattack. You pointed out earlier, there's no forge, so there'll be no cannon for detection either. So if Bly holds off this push with minimal losses, he can counterattack and win the game straight up.
I don't know about the lair, though. He doesn't need the lair. He needs to hold this attack, and he'll win the game. Well, on the other hand, he doesn't have a third, so maybe he does need that lair. Usually, you don't really need a lair to be able to win the game after holding the attack. You can rather spend that gas and minerals on extra roaches and zerglings, but in this scenario, he might need a lair for a follow-up, because it will be 2 base versus 2 base. Beast is now going to start to move out, and look at all these links. They're ready. They want to run by, but there is a pylon in position, so that will buy Beast a lot of time.
Overlord on the high ground, going to see this army moving out. Ling's going to go for a run by.
Oh, it's not walled!
Inside.
Oh
my,
no!
This is so good for Bly. And again, he's got the burrow now, so if he gets to get warped in, he can just burrow them. So many probes upon. This commits Beast to an all-in attack. He's got the roaches on the way.
His base
With burrow,
dead.
there's no way Bly can lose this.
If he loses this, I'm going to be surprised. He has to hold the main attack, though. He once again has no spine crawlers up yet. His roaches get forced through, but he has burrow. He's going to be able to buy time indefinitely. He'll just be able to burrow everything that comes out, and in the end, he should have a big enough army. All the probes have been killed in the base of Feast. 37 probes have been killed. Only 3 workers left alive for Feast. Does he have a few probes with his main army? Yes, he does. So he will be able to construct 1 assimilator or 1 pylon.
Yeah, well, there's the GG drop from Feast. GG replied from